Okay.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Alrighty.
Oh, wait. Yep, your wine? Okay. Hair good?
Very good.
All right. Ready? Let's go. Hi guys, it's Tim and Helen, and we're doing something different today. We're in different states. Tim is actually in Miami. I'm home,
I am in Florida today.
and I'm drinking this huge bottle by myself because Tim's not here.
And I am drinking a sangria with her. How about that?
Yes, we're both having sangrias today. But we are today. We wanted to come and talk to you about appraisals. So it's very common to have an appraisal when you are buying a home, right? And what is an appraisal, Tim?
Well, what is an appraisal? So this question came up again through our audience members, our question. So with that, don't forget to subscribe to me and Helen. Don't forget to give us comments and feedbacks about Wine About Real Estate, because this, what is an appraisal, came back from our continuation from last week, actually. So that's awesome that we got all this feedback. So don't forget to follow us. But an appraisal is basically an analysis on the valuation of your home, or of the home rather. And there's a lot of things that go into an appraisal. And Helen, what does it mean for an appraisal on the buyer side?
So when we write a contract, especially when you have a loan, the bank is going to want to come out and appraise the home to make sure that you're not overpaying for that home. It's basically a security for their mortgage, and an extra security blanket for you, so that way you're not paying for much more than what the house is actually worth.
Yeah,
so an appraiser is, what's that, Tim?
So you're not overpaying, right?
They're not overpaying. So an appraiser is someone licensed in that field who's went through all the training, and he comes out and he evaluates the home. So for example, if a house, the agreement price is $350, and the appraiser comes out and said, you know what, Mr. Buyer, this home is only worth $330. What we do is we would go back to the seller and we say, this is the report, this is our finding, and we request a price reduction. And depending on the situation, they, about 99% of the time, they will reduce it. But if not, then, that's a different story. And then we cross that bridge in another section. But in a nutshell, that's what an appraisal is for the buyer.
For the buyer.
Yes.
So, from a seller point of view, this is why it's very important that you don't list your house too high, because like Helen says, it's a third-party appraiser. It's not, me and Helen are not licensed appraisers. We are licensed realtors and licensed real estate agents. So with that being said, we can only give you our best advice on pricing. Now, when you overprice your house, that means you run the risk of it not appraising. And if it doesn't appraise, you're going to be brought down to reality a little bit from the appraisal report that comes out, and making, again, the bank's not going to give you more than it appraised for. And like Helen just mentioned, there's different ways to work around it, whether, you can contest it, or you can bring, the buyer can bring more money to the table. But at the end of the day, an appraisal is the comparison, is the valuation of what the property is worth from the bank side of view, and how much they want to on the rent. Helen, have you worked with, I know this is a loaded question, but cash offers? We have a little tick mark on appraisals too. So, Helen, I know you're working through one right now with one of our listings.
Yes, I'm working through one right now, and cash buyers, you do have the option of hiring an appraiser to come out. Again, same process, but it's optional for cash buyers. So if you feel like, you're comfortable with the price, then you don't have to spend that money. But if you want, again, that extra security, then go ahead and hire an appraiser, and we can help you with that.
Absolutely. And it is a fee that has to be disclosed. So even though you're paying for it out of pocket, usually anyway, out of pocket, it will be shown on the reports, on the final settlement statement that you did pay for out of pocket. Helen, from your experience, about approximate appraisal fees ranging, just a range?
Isn't it about 500 in
I
Georgia?
would say about 500.
Yeah.
That's I've seen it as low as like 450, but at the end of the day, the appraisers, yeah, I think 500 is a good estimate.
Yeah. Now, Tim, someone asked me, okay, an appraiser is coming out. Do I need to clean my house? Do I need to make sure everything is neat in order, just like the day that the photographer comes out? What do you think?
It doesn't have to be spick and span like the photographer, but there are a lot of stuff that goes into an appraisal, right? Square footage, the renovations and how upgraded the property is. So because of all of that, you want to make sure your house is still, presentable. We've seen, and Helen and I have seen reports where the square footage may have been turned, it's been off because they couldn't correctly, adequately measure the house, so to speak. So the square footage was wrong. Or they couldn't see all the upgrades. I think that's a little bit more of an issue. Don't you think? Sometimes with appraisals?
Yes, yes. So your house doesn't have to be a spotless clean, but make sure that the structure is untouched, that the structure is there for the appraiser to evaluate and to take a look at.
Because they'll look at the upgrades, the square footage. If it's brick, they're gonna pull, from our experience anyway, they'll pull the last 6 months, probably the last 6 months. They'll try to get as similar as possible. The appraiser is, they'll adjust the price based upon, if there's not enough comps for like an extra bathroom or something. So they'll account for extra bathrooms. Actually, like an extra garage, square footage, and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I mean, they're pretty fair. Again, from a buyer standpoint, from a seller standpoint, we'll go. We won't see the appraisal report typically unless there's an issue. So if it appraises or if there's not an issue with the appraisal, we'll never see it.
Mm-hmm. How's your sangria? Mine's pretty good. I like mine.
My sangria is very good. It's a very good $17.
Oops.
So like when we said we were doing this, we wanted to make sure that we try to drink something very similar. So when she said she was getting a sangria, mine has just bells and whistles and oranges and stuff.
I have this whole bottle to go through. Oh my gosh.
But with that being said, we wanted to give you a very, very quick overview and highlight about what an appraisal looks like. It's something that a lot of people do ask. Again, it was asked last week, but a lot of it more in depth. Helen and I can definitely give you the whole rundown. But with that, Helen, how's keeping Atlanta warm?
Atlanta is fine. No rain today.
Oh, no rain today, finally.
Oh, good.
But thank you so much for the love and all the questions. And here's to another week.
Bye, guys.